Hey everyone, welcome to a brand new episode of the show. Today we're taking a look at the G.I. Joe Classified Series Scrap Iron and Anti-Armor Drone. Now I got this one from CMD Store because I had no luck trying to find this one in the wild. So I grabbed it, it was in stock, ordered it, it came fairly quickly within a week. So I'm glad that I went with CMD Store, even though I paid a little bit more for shipping because they're in Canada. I'm in Georgia. So I rolled the dice, did what I had to do to get the figure. As you can see, I have my little vintage G.I. Joe scrap iron figure to the side over here looking at the package of the classified series. So we'll look at those a little bit later together. So like always, we're going to start off by taking a look at the packaging. Front, back, right side, left side, top, and the bottom. And with a look at the packaging out of the way, the only thing that's left to do is to open this guy up and play. So as you can see, this guy comes with a ton of accessories. He comes with not only the figure, but the drone that comes in a couple of pieces, which we'll put together in just a few. Also, all the weapons and the blast effects. I think you really get a nice bang for your buck with this particular figure. So let's start off like we always do by looking at the accessories first. First up, it comes this little pistol here. Nothing really special about this pistol, but it does fit in the holster, so we'll like that. Next up is the controller that actually controls the anti-armor drone. Looks like a little LCD screen and maybe a little antenna here. So it's a nice update to the original scrap iron figure. Taking a look at the helmet that comes with scrap iron, it's nice. Got a little visor here, the Cobra logo on top. It's, it's a bit thin on the plastic, but I guess that's by design, so it goes over his head. Next up, we have a couple of laser-guided missiles that go into the anti-armor drone. Here's a look at the original missile that came with the vintage figure, as opposed to this one. So here are the blast effects for the missiles. They look like, chocolate-covered pretzels, kind of, with little candy on the end. But that's not what they are. They are actually blast effects for the missiles. The ends of them have a little hole. The edge of the missile has a little notch. It slides right in, and it gives you that cool blast effect like it's shooting out of the cannon. Next up is another blast effect. I'm not too big on these blast effects, but I guess, if you stand them around the figure, they will look pretty cool. These are pretty much kind of the same. One's a little bit bigger than the other, but that's pretty much the big difference. A couple more effects here that just kind of go on the ground somewhere, like the missile just exploded. Yeah, it's kind of hollow there. Nothing much to write home about. I'm not a big blast effects person, so it doesn't really matter to me. So here you have the bottom of the drone tank treads. It's nothing much to this. It's actually cool. You can see the treads on the bottom of this thing. They're actually kind of this rubbery plastic. So they don't move, obviously, but they are kind of like this just cool feel to them. So it does give that sense of movement, even though it doesn't. You have a little knob here where the top of it will fit into place. And as I turn this, you can see the front of this has kind of some cool gribblies on it. Here's the back of it. You can see it looks like the rear of a vehicle. And here's the bottom where the hole is that attaches to these tank treads, or whatever you want to call them, treads. And it kind of is a little bit tight, but it does go on well, and it displays pretty nice. Yep, and it gives a little bit of movement to that. We'll put the missiles in, and they probably fit in just like the old figure does. It just slides right into place. No big deal at all, and voila, it's obviously that is pretty awesome. I mean, this is actually a pretty cool little a vehicle accessory to go with it. As you can see, it's kind of updated from the vintage one. Here he had like a wired controller to control the missiles, whereas this version features this wireless controller with antenna. So that's a nice little modern update. Taking a look at scrap iron, this is amazing. The guys at Hasbro did a fantastic, check out that. Just check out the scarring on the side of the face, the burn marks, whatever you want to call it. Hasbro did a great job on this with the paints. Even has some scarring on the other side of his face, along the side of his head. it's just, I'm blown away by this. Look at the eye. The eye is kind of icky too. That's just a great job on this scrap iron figure. Looking at the figure overall, I mean, everything looks good. The design of him looks nice. I don't like these little plastic holster things because they sort of, it's hard to get them in place where they don't turn other pieces. But we're going to try to do our best here to get this going. Standing up, he's a little wonky. His legs are a little wobbly. But other than that, that's cool. We'll put his handgun in his holster just to get him all set up perfectly. As you can see, it slides right in. No issues. I'm going to display him with his little controller and not the handgun. Anyway, taking a look at the back of the figure, just another great thing. Look at the texture on the legs. I mean, Hasbro did a great job on the sculpt on this guy. Paint scheme looks like the scrap iron from the 80s. 84, I believe, is when the original was released. So it looks good. I can't deny the quality on this guy. The only real complaint I have is the loose legs. I mean, but you know, your mileage will vary on that one. Your mileage will definitely vary. His head can rotate side to side and go all the way around and still get some good movement there. Look up that far, you can look down that far. Arms rotate all the way around. They can lift up about that high. It has a little bit of a butterfly movement here, not too much, but a little bit. Biceps swivel all the way around. Double jointed elbows that almost give him that booger picking ability, but just not quite. I always like a good booger picking arm. So I'm not sure exactly what's going on behind here. If it's like normal G.I. Joe classifieds, there is some articulation. It's just this piece is a plastic, that rubber plastic's hard to move or figure out what's going on. But he can turn at the torso, doing a 360 all the way around. He can do a split. He can split that way. And of course he has those drop hips that are really kind of loose on this one. I think this is what makes the figure a little wobbly, or those hip joints that I don't like that it makes the legs wobbly. Scrap Iron can almost kick his own butt with those double jointed knees. He's got boot rotation there all the way around. And he has nice movement at the ankle, so he's got those ankle rockers that slide side to side too. Let's put his helmet on. As you can see, let's slide it down. It's a little tight trying to get it on, but that completes him. That completes the figure and makes the figure pop all that much. He looks cool. Let's put the little doodad in his hand. There he goes. That is Scrap Iron. Oh my God, I don't know if I were ranking this out of a top 10, he would be very high on my list of Cobra figures. He is that cool with all the accessories and the anti-drone armor thing, whatever you want to call this thing. It looks fabulous. So here is Scrap Iron with his buddy, his little vintage counterpart buddy. As you can tell, it's very similar, just updated missile launchers. I like the treads on this one, and I like the look of the new one, especially with the newer controller. I think Hasbro hit it out of the park. You must buy this thing. If you don't have it, go ahead, buy it. So if you like what I'm doing, please hit that like, that subscribe button. I sure would appreciate it. You can help the channel grow by sharing this content. I would absolutely love it if you did that. Check out AshleyWilbanks.com each and every day for the latest G.I. Joe news and reviews. And of course, leave a comment below. Let me know if you've pre-ordered this guy, or if you've ordered him, or if you have him in hand. What do you think of Scrap Iron? Do you think as highly of him as I do? I sure would like to know. Leave your comments below. All right, folks, that is it for this episode of the show. Hope you enjoyed it. And as always, yo Joe, and God bless.